So tonight's menu is going to be Cornish Game Hens. These are often overlooked, incredibly fantastic alternatives to chicken. These are just young chickens, about 1.25 pounds or so. These guys have been brined overnight. Brining just means it's a solution of liquid and salt and a little sugar and some herbs. And what it does is allows the meat to sort of retain a lot of its moisture. And then I've air chilled them for about 8 hours just so they can be roasted quite simply and just be in their best. Feel free to message, of course, any direct questions about brining. This is something I definitely recommend with whole chickens, pork chops. It's a fun thing to add to, especially when you're grilling sort of cheaper cuts of meats or something like this. So these are lean and beautiful. They've also been trussed nicely. As well, we've got some celery root or celeriac that's just been peeled and sliced. This is gonna be caramelized into a puree. We've got some onion, some garlic, some red cabbage. Then I've got some cremini mushrooms that have been cut up, some diced shallots, and this is sauce perigord. Sauce perigord, or just in layman's terms, a truffle sauce with Madeira. This is obviously on the extravagant side. This is just because I have these ingredients sort of sitting around. An alternative to this could be simply just a chicken jus by just getting a bone-in chicken stock, reduce it down, and maybe add a little bit of lemon juice or something. Again, feel free to message me about any kind of direct questions of a very simple sauce alternative if you don't know or feel comfortable making something along those lines. So we get the celery root started off. We're going to do a little bit of olive oil in the pan. And then a generous knob of butter. We'll add our onions in. Salt. A little black pepper. Okay, the onions are just starting to brown a little bit. I'll go ahead and add the garlic. And then, of course, finally, add our celery root. We're going to take these guys and gently brown them or begin the browning process. There's no need to season, they've already been seasoned with the brine. So gently turn these guys. Just want to keep the celery root stirring at the same time. We've got it on about a medium heat at this point. It's starting to get that wonderful color too. 450-degree oven. We're going to start our duxelle of mushrooms. Touch of olive oil here. Small knob of butter. We're going to go ahead and add our shallots into that. And we just want to sweat these shallots. We don't want any color on them. A little salt. Pepper. So this is totally optional, but we're going to add just a little bit of white wine. You can totally leave this out if you don't have any. I just happen to have a little bit of open white wine. Just to add a little bit of acidity. A little lemon juice would do as well. So now that the wine is completely evaporated, we've got all the liquid out, which is important because mushrooms are full of water. We're going to go ahead and add our chopped mushrooms. And what the mushrooms have done is they sort of absorb all that butter and fat, and what's going to end up happening is now they're going to start leaching out their water. Smells amazing. At this point, we'll go ahead and add a little bit of water. You can certainly use chicken stock or even cream. At this point, our mushrooms are done. If you add any parsley or chive, even a little creme fraiche or something in there would be really nice. Again, this is based on what I've got lying around in my fridge. We can just let that hang out until we're ready to serve. Celery root is coming on nicely. You can see the color of that liquid, which is water has now been infused with all those flavors. It's got that great caramel color. Okay. At this point, our celery root is nice and tender. I'm just gonna get that in the blender. And here is the final product. All right, there's our birds. And again, optional, but if you want to take this to the next level, we're going to baste it in a little bit of foamy butter. I'm just going to take these guys, I'm going to give them a nice rest. I'd say let them rest for no less than 15 minutes. Take some of this bird butter here, add it to our mushrooms. That's gonna be fantastic on that. All right, in the same pan that the chicken just came out of with all that butter and drippings, we're gonna add our roughly chopped cabbage here. A little salt. Pepper. Take our birds. Bird. Just to cut the twine off of it. And just like breaking down a chicken, for plate up, just take some of our puree here, our duxelle, Cornish Game Hen, our cabbage. We'll just assemble kind of into a nice little stack over here.
I'm gonna video you sauce in one, and then I'm gonna take a picture and do action shots of you sauce in the other, okay?
Then we just take our sauce. Alright, and there it is. That's the caramelized celery puree, sauteed cabbage, duxelle mushroom, and Cornish game hen with sauce perigord. Cheers.